Well, hey everybody, so far in our unit on industrialization, we have looked at the rise of industry in America. We have looked at the development of railroads, and today let's take a look at big business, you guys. Following the Civil War, large corporations developed that could consolidate business functions and produce goods more efficiently. Retailers began using techniques to attract consumers. Corporations, you guys, during the Gilded Age here, we saw the development of corporations. A corporation is an organization owned by many people, but treated by law as if it were one person, and made big business possible. Freedom in the form of corporation was one of the great benefits of the laissez-faire approach to economics in the late 1800s. So there it is, you guys. There's that word again that we have talked about before. Laissez-faire, right? This concept that government should stay out of the affairs of business and leave business to operate on its own. That's the laissez-faire approach. And yeah, corporations, the formation of corporations was one of the big benefits of this laissez-faire approach that helped the economy grow in the 1800s. One of the advantages of corporations, one of the advantages of corporations is that you can raise money by selling stock. If you buy stock in a company, it just basically means that you have a partial ownership in that corporation. Corporations are allowed to invest in new technologies, right? Because of the stock that they sell and all the money they have coming in from the purchase of these stocks, it gives them the money to be able to invest in new technologies. You also have the ability then to hire a large workforce. You can purchase machines. It increases your efficiency, right? And so you have some advantages as a corporation that smaller companies who are not issuing stock are not able to do because they do not have the money available to them to do that. So in the end, you create what's called an economy of scale. Okay, an economy of scale, cost is decreased by producing goods quickly and in large quantities. So guys, it has to do with volume, right? Why do you think these large corporations, these large companies can produce so many goods at a cheaper price? Because of volume, right? I mean, I've talked about this before, but why do you think so many of these mom and pop shops are going out of business today? Well, they aren't able to keep pace with these large corporations that can mass produce items at a cheaper cost to themselves, thus they can pass that cost on to the consumer. And so yeah, the advantage of a corporation is that you can reduce your overhead, reduce your cost, and pass that savings on to the consumers, and you make money because you're producing in volume. So corporations, guys, were a big invention there during the Gilded Age, during the time of industrialization. So we're also going to talk about the various types of business organization. Three of them specifically: a sole proprietorship basically is one owner who often manages the business. Self-employed person, a sole proprietorship, basically what that is. One person manages the business. A partnership. Partnership is two or more owners who usually manage the business together. They come together and they share profit, they share responsibility, they share expense. But yeah, partnership is typically two or more people. And then the third one is the corporation. The corporation is owned by the shareholders, those people who buy stock in the corporation, and then managers are hired to run the business. So a couple of the 19th century business leaders that we will talk about, and there was a lot of them, but we'll focus on a couple here: Andrew Carnegie and John Rockefeller. Of course, Andrew Carnegie was responsible for developing the steel industry in America. John Rockefeller, the oil industry. Andrew Carnegie opened his first steel mill in Pittsburgh in 1875. John Rockefeller, by 1880, owned Standard Oil, which owned 90% of the oil refining businesses in America. Andrew Carnegie organized his company in a vertical manner. It means that a company owns all parts of the industrial process. And we'll talk in more detail in class about the difference between vertical and horizontal integration. But kind of in a nutshell, guys, vertical integration is just it's an expansion strategy that just says that you take over control of more than one stage of the production. So in other words, you might, not only do you own, say, maybe a steel mill, but maybe you own some mining companies that dig for iron ore, and maybe you own some of the railroad companies that ship the ore to the factory. So you own multiple different companies within the various stages of production. On the other hand, horizontal integration is more where you expand by acquiring companies in the same business. For instance, if you own a refining company, you go out and buy more refineries. Or if you own a car dealership, you go out and buy more car dealerships. That's right. If you own a gas station, you go out and buy more gas stations. That's more like horizontal integration, but we'll get into more detail on that in class. So anyways, guys, that's just a basic little introduction to big business. If you're in class, we will be going over some material to delve into this in more depth. We'll talk more about some of these 19th century business leaders and what they did to help the economy of the United States. If you're not in class and you're viewing this video, hey, I encourage you to go back and look up the economy of the Gilded Age, guys. That time period, again, between 1877 and 1900, where the economy of the United States took off, and a lot of it was a result of these large corporations that were formed as a result of the laissez-faire approach that our government took towards business. So yeah, do some research there and let me know what you find out, and we will see you all back later. Okay, bye.